This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth?
Take.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Dr. Phil Show. I'm Dr. Phil. Now, growing up is a very important, critical part of a human's life, and it really requires good parenting. Now, the two people I have coming here today is a great example of when that fails to happen properly. So, who I'd first like to introduce is the son in this situation, and that's Jimmy Morrison. Jimmy, come on in here, please. Nice to meet you, son. Pull up your pants, not that kind of doctor, buddy. Have a seat, we'll get started. Alright, now Jimmy, well, what do you prefer to be called? Jim? Jimmy?
Well, on the streets they call me Jungle Jimmy.
Alright, well, we'll stick with Jim. Alright, Jim, explain to me why exactly you're on the Dr. Phil Show here today.
Well, Dr. Phil, I've been living with my mama ever since I've been young, and recently my parents got a divorce, and now somebody gave my mama the cancer. So, basically, my dad doesn't like me living on my own.
Okay.
So, I've been living on my own, and right when he starts to be a part of my life again, I don't want that. He's never been a part of my life before, and he's just starting to try to be back in my life. I don't want that, Dr. Phil.
Okay, well, that could possibly, I mean, that could be a positive thing, that he wants something to do with you.
I don't want that, Dr. Phil.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to try to figure out today. We're going to try to bring these two closer together, that get that bond that they never had when it was most needed when they were growing up. So, I'm going to introduce, your father's actually here with us today, surprisingly. I'd like to introduce Mr. Hugh Morrison. Come on in, Mr. Hugh. Thank you for having me. Take a seat there next to your son. Alright, now, Hugh, explain to me why exactly it is that you want to be part of your son's life now rather than before when he needed it the most.
Well, recently my ex-wife developed a stage of cancer. And with her destined to go any second, I believe my son is going to need that positive parent figure in his life.
Alright, now what I don't really understand is why don't you have the same attitude, or why do you have that attitude now towards parenting your son rather than when he was 3 years old and really wasn't capable of taking care of himself whatsoever?
Well, being my ex-wife, his mother, is destined to go any second, I feel like he's not going to be able to take care of himself as well.
Well, I mean, I feel like almost your wife, or ex-wife, sorry, developing cancer is really the only reason that you want to parent your son. If he was 3 years old and she developed cancer, would you have felt the same way?
Yes.
Because that would have been a whole lot more responsibility. We all know that. Now, what we have here today is some actual footage, some family videos of when Hugh was actually parenting Jimmy just as a small child through almost every stage of his life while he was growing up. Let's take a look.
Why won't you stop? Stop crying! Please stop! Jeez, I'm gonna go get your mother.
Hello, my name is Dr. M. Jackson, and I'm here as a developmental psychologist to help Dr. Phil analyze this situation a little bit. Now, you'll see from the ages from 0 to 1, the infancy stage, a child develops trust and mistrust. Now, what you just saw there is a baby being tossed onto the ground simply because the father doesn't understand this. And during this stage, it's very important that a baby feel the trust of their mother and father, or else they won't develop properly. Such as things as caring for them, changing their diapers when they poop, feeding when they need to eat. So that's just one way to develop this kind of trust. Now, this is what should have happened here. Should have held the baby, loved the baby, And, you know, this is really just developing that trust relationship between, oh, poor baby, you must be hungry.
James, it's about that time to get to the bathroom. What do you say?
I don't have to go to the bathroom.
Yes. We go this time every day. What makes you think you can go on your own?
You don't know I need to go to the bathroom.
James, for goodness sakes, we go to the bathroom this time every day. You know that. Sabrina!
Hey, I am Dr. Jerry S., toddler specialist. And what you just saw was a child in the toddlerhood age learning about autonomy and versus shame and doubt. Now, it's very critical for a child to be autonomous. And what you can see through his parents is he's learning to feel shame and doubt for trying to do things on his own. He's trying to get a sense of his own free will and a sense of the things that he can and can't do himself, which eventually will teach a child to be autonomous. And I mean, what you really just saw in this stage here is a child just he needs to learn to be autonomous. His father literally scared the poop out of him. And it's just terrible.
Yay! Balls! Yeah! Yeah!
James, for the 100th time, you don't play with this ball. This ball means so much to me. It followed me my whole career. Jeez, you're so worthless.
Hello. My name is Dr. Early, and yeah, you've guessed it. I'm a specialist in the early childhood psychology. This ranges from ages 4 to 5 about. And what you just saw is a child learning to feel guilty instead of trying to take an initiative. And this is just something that a child needs to feel that initiative. He needs to be able to explore and to imagine different things for himself for the first time. What you just saw is his father just killing his hopes of playing soccer. He just completely destroyed that. Now he feels guilty instead of feeling good that he took the initiative. And this is just a very critical time in a child's life. Oh my goodness, he is unresponsive. Help, help, I need help. You! Call 911, get an AED.
Dad. Alright, remember how I had that soccer tryout? Well, guess what? There was like 300 people there, and they chose me to be one of the 20 people that they kept on the team. And I knew I could tell you because you were so good at soccer, and I knew you'd be happy for me. And I had like a goal and an assist. I played really, really well. I thought of you the whole time.
Come here, let me tell you about my first soccer team. What have I told you about playing soccer? You're not supposed to be the soccer star. You're supposed to be tight end. Why can't you copy someone like your cousin, not me?
Why, hey there. My name is Dr. Watson. You guessed it. Elementary psychology. Now, what you have to realize about this age, ages 6 to 11, is that a child needs to not feel inferior. What just happened with this child is that his father, by telling him not to play soccer, by telling him to be more like his cousin, he's feeling inferior. Now, a child at this age needs to feel accomplishment, like just getting on that soccer team was fantastic, but his father made him feel inferior. A child needs to learn things that they're good at and learn things that they can accomplish to a standard. And right here, it's just...
Yeah, I'll call you back. My son just got home from school.
Hey, Dad. Can I talk to you?
About what?
About school. I'm really having trouble making friends.
Why is that?
Nobody really wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to sit with me on the bus, so I just sort of go throughout my day not really talking to many people or hanging out with anybody.
Have you tried to express yourself to anyone?
Well, sort of, but it's tough when Nobody wants to talk to you.
Well, if you continue to be the whiny little baby that you're being right now, no one's going to want to be friends with you. I don't even like you now.
Who needs you?
Who needs you?
The one and only Dr. Shivarala, specializing in adolescent psychology. Now, what you just witnessed was a role confusion versus identity kind of psychology. Now, what you saw was young Jim here trying to find his identity with a group of people. And he was having a very hard time doing that. It's very important for an adolescent to fit in with a group of people and to be able to express himself with others and be able to talk and communicate with them. Now, because his father shuts him down when he's saying he needs kind of help making friends, you know, he has this role confusion. He doesn't really know where he fits in. You know, Jim, if you're looking to make some friends, I have this great candy truck outside.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Dropping everything again.
Yo, what's up, Dad? Yeah, I gotta
So-
show you my new piece.
What?
Yeah. What? No. Oh my, no. The big rack. The rack out there. Put it on the biggest one out there. The big rack.
Hey, I did. Jeez.
There's my girl, Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
Son, what have I told you about getting involved with women? You know this stuff doesn't work. Do I have to teach you another lesson like I do every time?
No, like.
Oh, you know, it doesn't work! Ugh, you see your mother and I, you know it doesn't work! Ugh.
Hi, I'm Dr. My specialty is in young adults. As you can just see from this scene here, there's a big intimacy versus isolation problem. And through this, you learn Jim's father has just taught Jim that intimacy is a bad thing. At this stage in a person's development, it is very important for them to be able to show love and to feel love. And right now, Jim just can't feel that. He doesn't have even the choice. And he can't feel that intimacy. Hey, Sarah. You want to go on a date?
Alright.
Alright, so now that we've seen those clips from the past, now those have sunk in a little bit, I brought an expert in here today, a good friend of mine, another psychologist. His name is Dr. Zoidberg. Dr. Zoidberg, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to have you here.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Have a seat there right next to Hugh.
Oh, thank you. Hi, well, I'm Dr. Zoidberg, as Dr. Phil mentioned. I am an expert in the later stages of life, dealing with psychology. And so I'm here to tell you about if the behavior continues between these two, what is it going to look like for Jim in the future? I can tell you around his midlife area, or time known as a midlife crisis, he is not going to take any interest in reproducing a better and healthier generation of people. He's not going to care about that at all. And so that's just one downside to this. Another one is that he's really not going to know how to deal with things as they come up through his midlife. And as that progresses, he'll move into his later years, where you'll either have ego integrity or despair. He'll look back on his life in either, I had such a terrible life, you know, I'm in despair all the time, I don't know what to do, or if things change, he can look back at his life and say, I lived a fulfilling life. And that's the difference between your ego integrity and despair.
Thank you, Dr. Z. You get to leave. Can you stick around?
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Alright, now after we refresh your memory with some of those videos from your childhood, now they got Dr. Zoidberg's professional input on this. How do you guys feel? Like, yeah, how do you feel about this whole situation now?
I feel that with the soon-to-be absence
of his mother, he's going to need that parent in his life.
I do feel like I could live without it.
Have you not forgiven me for what I've done?
You did a lot.
Alright, now Jimmy, do you see his side of the story
I do.
clearly? Like,
Yeah.
do you see his side of the story?
I do.
Like, you gotta see each other's sides of the story fully, otherwise nothing's going to come of this. I mean, no matter how thin you make a pancake, it's still always got two sides. You gotta understand that. Now, what you need to do here is you just gotta talk things out. It's not about what happens here on the show, it's what happens after we leave the show. If the problem's resolved 5 years after the show, good. I hope this had some kind of impact on it. Well, you guys got to talk this out yourself. I've done everything I can. I hope I helped you guys. So, I'll leave it up to you from here. Hopefully you can get this done. If you need me, you can stay in contact.
James, I think we should start fresh.
I think we could do that.
I hope so. Come here, boy.
Well, another successful episode of Dr. Phil. I mean, another quality success. I'm glad you guys could all be part of this touching episode. I'm glad I could help. Thank you very much.